Hey everyone, welcome back to the second video of the writing emails section of this longer video on everything related to sales and cold emails. I've got Nate from Inbox Attack with me. This is Sujin from Mailshake. Nate, let's jump into writing emails. Well, let's talk about the subject line. I feel like this is a very important thing. What do you think?
Yeah, subject lines are probably the most talked about item in email marketing above everything else. Everyone's always talking about, hey, what's your favorite subject line? Oh, that was a good subject line. It's like, how did that subject line work? And how many emojis can you fit in a subject line? Honestly, I don't think it's the most important part of an email. I've gotten away with some really, really boring subject lines and made my clients and myself lots of money because of it. But it is something that is part of the winning formula. So that being said, I want to get into the basics here and we'll peel back a few extra layers as well. So short and sweet. All right. I've seen some insanely long subject lines. Some of them are conversational. And I've actually seen subject lines that are like, yeah, I hope I'm not bothering you. I have something really cool to show you. And it's involving this and that and the other. And you should totally open this email. I've seen really long subject lines that are, it looks like they, like it might as well be a barcode. Has like, an event date in it, the location, the full address for an event invite. Those event invites are notorious for making really long subject lines. Short is better. Now we'll get into subject line length here in a few seconds, but short is always going to be better, mainly because that's just how the human brain's going to process it. They see the from name, they see the from email, they see the subject line, and they may or may not see a preview of the email itself. So if we give them too much to chew on, they're not going to digest it in time and move on to the next thing. All right. And it seems like really overly simplified, but everyone makes this mistake, me included. I sometimes get really wordy with my subject lines. Merge tags. When you're personalizing an email campaign, it is very tempting to use the first name merge tag on the subject line. And I've seen this in e-commerce especially work to great effect. In cold emails and sales emails, more often than not, you're dealing with a smarter prospect. They're a bit more savvy, and the higher up the food chain you go, the more emails they're getting. And oftentimes when you're trying to merge by first name, like if someone says, hey, Nathan, well, most people that know me call me Nate. Oh, hello, Christopher. Well, I go by Chris or Tafur, right? So I would avoid it at all costs. I would not use a first name merge tag in a sales email. Always there are exceptions, but it's too easy to mess up. So unless you're going through with a fine tooth comb and getting their name exactly right, I would avoid using it.
Nate, one of the things I would actually say, you should go through your prospecting list. We talked about this in a previous video. You should go through your list with a fine tooth comb and make sure you've got at least their freaking first name right, the company, capitalization, abbreviation right. So, but yeah, I totally would. I'm with you here.
Yeah, and this is something that there's other areas in the email where you could successfully use first name. I said right now it's just marketers have a tendency of ruining everything, and that's one of the things that we have ruined is first names and subject lines. People are becoming numb to it. A company name and a subject line is still very, very effective. It can be framed a lot of different ways. I love the intro, introducing X company to my company. And it's very specific. It's direct. Doesn't have to be clever. It could just be really simple. And this one is another thing that's happening a lot is the bait and switch. You could get away with a cutesy subject line. If you're selling widgets or selling iPhone covers or selling Disney memorabilia, you could get away with it. When you're dealing with a cold email where the potential price tag or whatever it is you're selling or the potential cost and time is going to be much higher, just avoid the bait and switch. You're allowed to get clever. You could get clever with cold emails, but in my experience, direct and specific will always win. So I would leave that for the realm of e-commerce. So I have sales emails. Again, I'll just avoid the bait and switch. Did you just call me as one I got recently? And I actually opened that thing, and I opened it, and when you see what the message that's inside, you kind of feel let down a little bit. The subject line is a promise, and the message needs to deliver. So if there's a huge disconnect between your subject line and your actual message, you got to fix that, because that is a really fast way to inject distrust right out of the gate. That is it on content. Length, there have been companies that have done studies with, I'm talking hundreds of millions of emails, testing if length has an impact on open rates. The answer is it does not. So length does not matter. There is no secret formula for length. However, big underline, however, we live in a mobile world. If your prospect is going to be reading emails on their phone, and especially if you have personal email addresses at Gmail, at Yahoo, stuff that's likely not tied to, to someone's corporate Outlook account somewhere, 39 characters is currently what it is. That seems to change all the time. And that is one of the reasons why Mailshake's new feature, where it checks your message before you send it, is so important, is it suggests a shorter subject line because it won't get cropped on the phone. So the fine 39, 36, 37, 38, 39 characters is the ideal. I've gone longer and still had it work, but you don't always control when it's cropped. So keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it human, avoid the bait and switch.
Yeah, one thing actually to go back to that point real quick, it also depends on when you send the email, right? So like if you think about a lot of people between work hours, they may be on their computer, right? But if you're emailing somebody in the morning time, 7 a.m., 9 a.m., 8 a.m., maybe they're on their way to work, or maybe, I've sneaked a peek at my email when I'm stuck in traffic, or maybe before I even get to the office, I check my email, but that's on my phone. So just think about like who you're emailing, when you're emailing, and if you need to, if you think that person is going to be on their phone, you really need to make that subject line fit the phone. And so just test it out and see for yourself. And just note that like some people, this is also important, that some people may have larger screen size. Like I'm blind. So I have to either be really close, like 2 inches away from my phone, or have the font be a little bigger on my phone. And so my subject, like my screen is just like 125% text size. So like whatever you send me is just a little bit bigger. So like I can't, 39 characters doesn't, or 39, characters doesn't work for me. It needs to be like 30 characters. So just think about that and take into consideration when you actually go and do the emails.
Or use emojis, because we know how much Sujin loves emojis. Don't do that. Please don't. All right. That's it,
guys. That's it. All right. So as always, if you have any questions, leave a comment below and definitely subscribe. We've got another, I don't know, probably like a dozen videos in this series that I think everyone would benefit from. So again, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.